We've got one hope. This is a matter of life and death. But I can perform this miracle.
Can you hear the music?
Yes, I can.
Oppenheimer.
Hello, I'm Thomas Carruthers.
I'm Will Leggetter.
Will's just finishing typing an email. Will, do you want to explain why you're looking at the sky?
Yeah, I'd like to apologise to all of our 5 viewers.
85.
80. Hello. So I apologise. But how many of them watch us in the real life, and how many of them listen to us? Have you looked at our Spotify ratings recently?
I look at everything. I look at everything because I don't have anything left.
Like Madame Web.
I haven't. I did post my review of Madame Web, and we've tried some
Oppenheimer / Madame Web, if you want.
Did you go and watch Madame Web?
No, but I've seen and read and heard enough to talk about it. I reckon I could carry an hour-long conversation about it.
All I'll say is that I will never watch Argyle again, and yet I intend to watch Madame Web again.
But yeah, I've got a new laptop. Got for Christmas. Very fortunate. But as I've just discovered, the webcam is at the bottom of my screen, so I'll be looking at Tom. But it looks like it's like that rude thing, you know. If you want to psych someone out when you look at them talking to them, you look at just above their eyes, at their eyebrows, and they're like, they subconsciously, oh, is there something on me? And it really freaks. It's a power move.
We're playing poker tomorrow, so I might use that power move on you.
What, the entire night?
Honestly.
Fun. So very quick. So fun, this is the second annual poker night of the Hummingbird Club. And at last, obviously, you know James Melling, the wonderful James Melling,
wonderful James Melling,
this year because he has doctoral final year exams, medicine exams.
Congratulations!
So good luck to James from the CLW team. But he brought his reflective shades to wear last time, and we could see. So still, I'm like, okay, so James has got the ace of hearts there. So I go for the flush. He still ended up winning. But it was fun.
Oh, very good. Well, it makes me feel better, Will, because a moment ago you were saying that you were incredibly good at poker, and then you just told me the story how you lost to a man who you knew what cards he had. This year, Will, was an astounding year for film, and it felt like an opportune time to do something new, which was the 2023 Spotlight series. And very early on, everyone was sort of picking the films that they wanted to do, and I was picking the weirdo movies for me and Jay, and picking some other stuff and doing the big historical epic. I mean, you haven't watched Killers of the Flower Moon, of course.
I thought you were going to say Napoleon.
No, Napoleon was enjoyable. Napoleon was perfectly fine.
It's mad because you think so. 15 years ago, Napoleon would have been the biggest movie of the year.
15 years ago, so 2000 and somebody did the meme the other day where it was like, I rewatched The Disaster Artist, and at the start Adam Scott's talking and he says, nobody remembers what Best Picture came out 10 years ago, but everybody remembers The Room. And then somebody Googled it and went, the best picture that came out 10 years before The Disaster Artist was No Country for Old Men. The long and short of it is that very early on, I think this is going to be released on the eve of the Oscars, and it's being recorded on the eve of the Oscars. We're recording this close to release.
Are the Oscars tomorrow?
No, the Oscars are March 10th, but we're close. We're close.
Mother's Day.
Yeah, Oscars Day. Yeah. And I mean, Oppenheimer. This isn't gonna. I feel so confident that this isn't gonna bite me in the ass. Like Oppenheimer is going to sweep, and I think I said, I don't want to be that guy, But I think I said very early on, 2 years ago, saying we were having some sort of Nolan conversation, and I said, if Oppenheimer is good, then and people and critically beloved, then no, this will be Nolan's Oscar. And I think it's beyond beloved. It was commercially beloved to say that this is a 3-hour movie about nuclear science with a very, very dark ending. And well, I don't know what is there to what is there to say? We're going to talk for 2 hours, but I don't think the achievement can be underestimated. And I want to open with a very boring point, which is if there wasn't the Barbenheimer phenomena, which one do you think helped? Which one pulled the other?
I think no, I think it is important we talk about this because I think Barbie did a lot for Oppenheimer.
Yeah, because it became a meme and it became the thing to do. And I do think there is a lot more of the. On the other hand, I'm sure there is a percent. The people who watch Oppenheimer and weren't going to see Barbie were never going to see Barbie. Whereas the people who were going to watch Barbie no matter what, and maybe didn't want to watch Oppenheimer, probably did do the double bill. Yeah. It was just one of these incredible things of bizarrity of these two major movies who couldn't be any more different. And
speaking of the Barbie movie, the Mattel cinematic universe is now kicking off, isn't it? I think we're getting a Bob the Builder film very soon. It's Bob the Builder's already been cast.
Who's playing him?
I don't know actually.
Oh, sorry.
I think it's a nobody.
Yeah, it's going to be Robert Downey Jr. fresh off his Oscar win. I'm now going to play Bob the Builder, and he jumps immediately back into another cinematic universe. Before Oppenheimer, before Oppenheimer, before the reviews started coming in of like, oh no, this is actually great. What was your level of is this movie going to be good?
I had full confidence it was going to be very good and very high expectations because it's been produced by a team that I'm very fond of, that I've enjoyed. Well, I said this going into Tenet.
I was going to say, let's backtrack because Tenet, which I'm sorry, I just can't get behind. I love Kenneth Branagh as a Russian oligarch.
Oh, it's great.
But I'm the protagonist. Like, no, terrible. Not terrible. But then again, some of the best action of the year. And I said in my review, I said, if you got rid of all the time travel stuff and just made this finally we got the Nolan spy movie, this would be incredible. But I wanted to make a more particular point, which is that although we like certain sequences, neither of us are huge Dunkirk fans, which was Nolan's most comparable thing to this. Yeah. Huge World War II historical drama without any obviously scientific element, but no sci-fi element, no genre element, and that was a film that we have mixed opinions on. So,
yes. I recognize the pause too late. Yes. No, it's. I remember when we both watched it and we said, "Well, it went out what he did Dunkirk, but did he? It's a very difficult thing to achieve. I think he did it, but at a cost."
I mean, we have 20 minutes on a boat with fucking Barry Keoghan, and then he falls down a staircase and hits his head and dies, and it was really bad.
Yeah, yeah.
And all of the time stuff in that one wasn't needed. Anyway, the long and short of it is that I couldn't love Oppenheimer more. I was working in the middle of the ocean, and I had a day in Southampton, and I was like, I need to watch Oppenheimer, and so I went and watched Oppenheimer. and I'd had a friend before. I think you'd watched it and you said, yeah, no, it is incredible. And I said, don't tell me anything. And then I had another friend who said, and I said, don't tell me anything. And he said, I think it's one of the most important movies of our time or something. And I was like, yeah, okay, all right, don't tell me anything. And I went in 10 out of 10. And I'm now 3 watches in and it still
great,
flies by. And I was seeing a woman. I didn't leave her because of her Oppenheimer opinions, but I can't say it helped. Because watching it after 3 times now, that final hour is the one for me.
Yeah, epic. It's another movie. And it could very easily have not worked and thrown people off and bored them because
it does bore them. Well, it does bore them. This is the problem that we're facing. I have talked now with multiple people. I feel like this is going to be a bit of a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood episode where we both absolutely adore the film, but we need to address 2 elephants in the room, and we'll address the first one now. In that this movie is boring. Now, I don't want to patronize, or I want to frame this argument well. But this movie is so incredibly well paced and moves at such an absolute clip for 3 hours. I don't understand the argument that it's boring. The only way I can see it as boring is if, like, I don't know, is if you zone out, and if you're not in, and I'm sure that after an hour or 20 minutes of not being zoned in, you don't give it. It's not that you're bored; you've stopped caring because you haven't been involved. And so when Rami Malek comes back or whatever, you're like, oh yeah, I guess he was. Where was he?
Rami Malek. Let's talk about this now. When I'm not a fan of Rami Malek. I'm not sure if I've made those views clear before.
But we are big Lucifer Safin fans.
I'm more I like my favorite Rami Malek performance is Night at the Museum.
Yes.
You would not believe how stuffy it is in there. But yeah, he just arrived. He's just there with a clipboard for like 5 seconds. You're like, right, okay, I knew Rami Malek was in it, and then he drops the mic, and you're like, yeah, Rami.
So this is. I think we'll go by this movie by actor because this is a looser conversation, and I don't know plotting how that will work. But I've been watching the movie JFK for a podcast, an upcoming podcast for later this year, and that movie is 3.5 hours and incredibly dense and was a huge influence very clearly on this, like black and white sequences showing all of the conspiracy stuff, like all the different angles. And they cast like Walter Matthau for 40 seconds and Jack Lemmon for 5 minutes. And it's that thing of then when we're 2 hours later and they say, Guy Bannister was a man who had affiliation with the CIA. We go, Guy Bannister. Oh yeah, Ed Asner. I know Ed Asner. And there was an interview with Nolan where he said, very early on, he made the decision to not have any composite characters and to literally have all 10 scientists and give them full names instead of, like we see it all the time in historical dramas of like, actually, Will Leggetter is a composite of these 3 scientists. And it's one of those things. And he doesn't do any of that. And instead, how do you feel about the argument that it's distracting? Because I was never really distracted. But then again, we're huge Wes Anderson fans. So like we're like
I don't think it was distracted. No, everyone was it. I just took along the journey, and I think it works because it's told from Oppenheimer's perspective, and you follow him as a vehicle, a narrative vehicle, and so it works. These are just people he meets and he interacts with.
Which is where we come to our next big talking point, elephant in the room, to get out of the way. A lot of debate about whether or not this movie should have shown footage of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And I was rather bullish on this in the sense of, I thought, no, this is a movie that at times is entirely about spectacle and the dangers of it. How are you going to present on an IMAX screen those terrifying images that have already been brought to the screen in multiple different better documentaries and forms? And it's what you say. This movie is completely from Oppenheimer's point of view. And again, I think I was talking about this. There was a play called Consent, and there was a character that got sidelined, and everybody had an issue with it when we read it in class. And I was like, but that's the point. The point is that she got sidelined, and the point here is that it's from Oppenheimer's point of view, and so we get, when he hears it through the radio, and when he hears it when Groves calls him, we get these tiny little flashes, and then we get these nightmare moments during that incredible speech scene.
Yeah. Which shocked me because I thought that's not very Nolan.
It's the best.
Like, whoa,
yeah.
What's this all about? You're being a bit more creative than you usually are. You're trying to make a bit of drama. Yeah, no, and I was like, yeah, I didn't know I needed this, but this is great.
This is excellent. And then yeah, I do you. But then again, my opinion changed on this slightly because I'm just throwing exes under the bus. I was talking with the ex who I was with when Oppenheimer came out, and she didn't know that there were two bombs. So are we living in a world like we are quite educated historically to a general knowledge sensibility, but there are obviously people who aren't educated in this sort of stuff. There are people. It's like when Titanic came out and they didn't know that Titanic was a real thing, and this is darker material. This is, more horrific stuff. Is there an element of historical duty that Nolan did skip? Because as time goes on, are there people, like my ex, who didn't know that there were two bombs and didn't know all of these things? Or do you think that the film does enough service in explaining these situations?
I don't think it's the film's duty to act like that. I think it had an intention, it had a plot line, it had a story, a certain story it wanted to tell. There's plenty of other different media and opportunities for other creatives to produce that information in whatever media they want. This is what Nolan wanted to tell. So if you want to learn that there were two bombs, read a book, make a documentary,
or watch the great documentaries that are already out there, and then we'd only come around to some other argument about how Nolan as a white man shouldn't be depicting these horrors. I'm 3 steps ahead of everything all the time, and then we get to this third ridiculous argument. Well, no, I'll actually talk about that when we get to character by character. The film is told in three segments primarily, and the first segment is we meet Oppenheimer, and he is going through his training and slowly but surely moving through the world of science and atomic structure, and then we get this second hour where he's brought onto the Manhattan Project, and to its great successful end. We end with the Trinity test, and they're like, okay, this is going to be successful, and then this burgeoning self-doubt starts creeping in of like, oh well, how are we going to use it? And then this third hour, which is this incredible, sequence of which we've been bleeding throughout the film, however, now comes to full force of his security clearance coming up and this kangaroo court that's been set up by none other than Lewis Strauss. Pardon me. And I mean, it's an absolutely dynamite. I said this in my review. This movie owes incredibly a lot to JFK in its conspiratorial nature at times, in its depiction of years of history, in its constant moving pace, but more so, and we'll talk about it. I don't know how we feel if we're on the same page, but this movie is in the Amadeus structure, is in the Jesus Christ Superstar structure.
Exactly what I believe. I watched an interview with Robert Downey Jr. and he said, Christopher Nolan, Chris, asked me to watch Amadeus.
And this is where we get this is not some sort of career what's it called, where they give them a freebie at the end of a successful career. I genuinely do think this is the best supporting performance of the year. With Robert
absolutely Downey. Yeah.
And I think the second best performance of the year is Robert De Niro, and they're very, very similar in the sense of they are these incredibly charismatic performers who are in roles that play on that charisma. But
they're both called Robert D.
Yeah. Play to a devilish end. in that, and they are people who certain people trust, and they have incredible power, and it goes into a conspiratorial thing. I think they're both two astounding performances that, well, tragic ends for them, but obviously not. These are terrible people who got their due. Well, not really, but you know that we see that crumbling interiority. 20 years from now, we talk about Oppenheimer. What do you talk about? Do you think over time this becomes the Robert Downey Jr. supporting actor movie? Or do you think it becomes... I think people... I know this is stupid to say because he's winning every single award. I think people are underestimating how sensational Cillian actually is in this film.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I've followed his work for quite a few years now, and this was sensational.
And it goes against the argument that I make every single time of like movies that win big at the Oscars. I mean, it hasn't won big at the Oscars yet. I know this, but like acting performances, I talk all the time about Ryan Gosling in First Man, which is an incredible performance, but is incredibly quiet, or even Adam Driver in Marriage Story, where I beyond the big every day I wake up and I wish you were dead. You know, like there's no. It's mostly subdued. This is mostly subdued. He doesn't even get his big speech, quote unquote, is in this tender tone. And when they learn of what we're doing at Los Alamos, they will find a horror that they can't even imagine. And he never goes above a tone. You know, it's always this. It's an astounding performance. And also when it comes to playing a real life figure, you know, this is something that people play around with. But this isn't particularly a figure that people have a notion of their voice, would you say, or their, you know, how they look and that sort of thing. But I do think it's a crowning achievement. How do you want to do this? I don't know how you want to do this. Do you want to go like era by era? Do you want to go actor by actor? Because I don't know, because it's a very, very big film. And I don't know where to dive first in.
Should we go act by act?
Let's go act by act. So this first act is we're in Berkeley, and for the most part, and we say that's another part of the Cillian thing. Completely believed him as a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
Like minimal makeup, like they did his hair a little bit. And apart from that,
yeah,
absolutely fine. No bother. I completely believed it. And we get these notions very early on of what it is like to be in his mind. And we get these flashes of cyclones of all sorts of, physics and all sorts of stuff. And for the most part, he's terrified by it. And we, obviously, by the end of the film, he's a rather subdued individual. But in this first sort of part where we come to learn of him and come to learn of his furor that's going on in his mind, I mean, it paints an incredibly vivid image of what it must have been like to have this incredible mind. And then he moves and meets, of course, Kenneth Branagh. Masbo, do you hear the music? And let's talk about Ludwig Göransson. You are a huge Hans Zimmer fan, but Will,
this is better because it's not. It's I don't know. I adore Hans Zimmer, but I feel like on the whole, when he writes with Christopher Nolan, it's not his best music. Because it's very backgroundy, where slowly we're rising, and it's like his exception is obviously Dark Knight.
I was going to say, yeah, Dark Knight. Any single time in Dark Knight or the Dark Knight Rises where the when he jumps off the building, when they realize that the clowns are the doctors or whatever, and he jumps off the building and he's like, Karen, come! Yeah. Dark Knight, what a film.
I'm enjoying the new partnership very much.
Ludwig, and of course this is another new partnership because it's edited by the wonderful Jennifer Lame, who also directed Tenet, who is a sensational editor, and I think she's going to win. She did wonderful work with Noah Baumbach in Marriage Story, and I think she did My Witch Stories as well. But she's an incredible editor, and long may her continued legacy, because this is an incredibly hard film to make feel cohesive. Think about, I mean, the infamous Bohemian Rhapsody win. Is it best editing or is it most editing? And this is an incredibly hard film. And again, we go back to JFK winning film editing in 1991 because it just moves and everything somehow feels cohesive. Doesn't matter the timeline. I mean, the black and white helps a lot.
Yeah.
And the two parts. Interesting point. The Oppenheimer family came out against the poisoning of the apple, even though that was a true story that Oppenheimer said. Interesting factor. And even if him grabbing the apple from Kenneth is a bit cute. And then he moves to Germany, or you learn Dutch, and this is when we meet the wonderful David Krumholtz as Isidore Rabi, who is also just wonderful. And I right, do you have a hot take about anybody being bad in this movie? Because I don't actually think I do.
No. I'm going down the cast list now.
I don't think anybody's bad.
No, not at all.
I mean, this is a movie where Tom Conti plays Albert Einstein, and it somehow is still great.
Tom Conti as Albert Einstein is hilarious. Here, a bit early, but seeing as though we're talking about cast, let's discuss Mr. President.
No, we're not doing that's we'll save Mr. President. Cry baby. We'll talk about that later. What a surprise!
Oh yeah.
They say that these movies don't have cameos. For the rest of the first act comes on, and this is where we get a lot of the communism stuff, which is another historical element where people who don't read into American history or know a lot about American history, I guess they kind of sleep on how big a deal this was.
Oh God, yeah.
And this is where we meet Florence Pugh as Kitty. Emily's Kitty. Jane Tatlock. And we get Nolan's first sex scene. And
yeah.
Another big to-do, which I just didn't understand at all. People say these sex scenes were unnecessary. This is a man who, for lack of a better way to say it, loved fucking other men's wives and did it a lot and had so much of his life ruled by his lust. And you want to cut that out? I don't really think that's part. I think that's a terrible decision. There was stuff made about the depiction of it and how Florence Pugh only showed up for a certain amount of scenes and how it felt like a waste of Florence Pugh. You could say that this movie is a waste of anybody. And I understand that her part is a sexualized part, but that is the role. She is this figure in Oppenheimer's life that was this sexually destructive force that he bowed down to multiple times in his own weakness. And you want to talk about, by the numbers biopics. Is there anything by the numbers about the first time we hear and now I have become death, destroyer of worlds, being ridden by Mary Jo from Little Women? I don't really think that is something that I would have seen in One Love Bob Marley.
Bad film.
Terrible film. Did you watch it?
No. I hear there is actually not a single Jamaican in the film. Cast member. That might be liable, but I've heard rumors.
From who? What Jamaican podcasts are you listening to? Wow, I didn't expect that. And the arc of the first bit, and we get the wonderful Josh Hartnett, who looks so very much like young Richard Gere, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's all building up. And we've kind of blitzed through the first hour to be honest, people talking about
I'm enjoying the pace of this.
yeah, no, this is good because the second act and the third act is the ones we want to talk about. And also, um, maybe my hot take is I still think this is a 10 out of 10 film, and I don't think I'd cut anything of the first hour, but first hour is my least favorite. I go like 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
I like aggressively think it gets better, whereas many people have told me that like, oh, why didn't it just end after the bomb? I was like,
Blackout.
yeah, like because then you're making a film without an argument, and you're making a film that's entirely about, um, I guess validating. If it's a film that ends with the bomb, then the movie is completely on a sort of sports movie arc of we've got to win the game, and then you watch them win the game. If you don't have the hour and have the, pardon the horrible pun, the nuclear aftermath, then this is a bad film, not a bad film, but this is a morally bad film. You could make the argument.
I think we should have had the bomb, and then Aerosmith should start playing.
Dad, don't go, Dad.
Right, what a film. Watch Armageddon for people who haven't. That's not to you, Tom. Tom, you should watch a film called Armageddon.
Anybody in Armageddon that's in Oppenheimer?
Straight away, I wanted to go Steve Buscemi.
Cast Steve Buscemi in one of these roles.
Oh well, I know exactly who I'd cast Steve Buscemi as, and it's actually my favorite acting performance in the film.
Oh yes,
it would be Casey Affleck.
Oh my God, he was astounding. I genuinely
terrifying.
And why don't you tell me about when you talked? I was like, I know that voice. I know that voice. It's my boy Casey. He was brilliant.
Chilling.
And there many decisions that make this movie successful. A, having it be this dual narrative of the kangaroo court of Oppenheimer for his security clearance, paired with the most sort of classic movie setup of this courtroom with Downey Jr. and Strauss's to get into the Senate?
Shall we say to aid his political career?
Very good. And we get the wonderful Alden Ehrenreich, who I've defended multiple times. And he is so bitchy in this and wonderful. And,
it's where all the memes come from.
Yeah. Henry loses a friend. You told me. And it's very good. Oppenheimer's very, very good. We've got 5 minutes. We've got 5 minutes left in this first part. Is there anything, Will? We don't think anybody's bad in it. Do you think that there is anything sort of bad with Oppenheimer? Is there anything that you change? One of our normal topics is what's the change?
Nothing.
I really wouldn't. And I know that sounds insane, but I do genuinely think that this is a perfect film. Now, I also think that May December is a perfect film. And this is where, the thing this year, my top 3 was May December, Killers of the Flower, Oppenheimer, then Killers of the Flower Moon. And May December is still my favorite. But the degree of difficulty on that film is entirely different. And I really had a struggle of ranking Oppenheimer and Killers of the Flower Moon because in so many ways for me, they are very, very similar beasts. Astounding, epic pieces of work from our greatest directors. I mean, I think we can say Nolan is on that register now.
Yeah, I would say he's
And
I'm
starring
glad to register he's been a member of.
Yes. This comes out very soon, so we don't have to worry. But and filled with actors like famous names, mixed in Flower Moon's case with a lot of unknowns as well, who will not remain unknown for long, I hope. And incredibly dark material. And I'm interested why you haven't managed to see Killers yet, so I guess I'm just arguing with myself. But I am interested why so many people are just like, yeah, Killers of the Flower Moon, too long, don't want to watch it. When they are both movies about, you know, genocides and like I don't know. I don't know what it is. And it's that because they're both movies that have focused on the people who made the genocide happen. Because obviously that's people's Killers of the Flower Moons. People make this point where it's like, oh well. Again, I'm arguing with myself. I've done 2 hours on Killers of the Flower Moon. I'll talk about Oppenheimer. But Murphy, and the big here's my big thing. Murphy is astounding, and I do think Leo is astounding, and I think they're two different roles entirely. But Leo is a person. It's not really a spoiler, Will, but like Leo's character of Ernest is like somewhat a bumbling idiot who is strung along and does have a moral complexity within him, a vast one. But he is a pioneer American and is not very intelligent. Oppenheimer is an incredibly intelligent man who understands, I believe,
Yes,
every single moral aspect of what is happening. And Cillian is sensational in portraying all of those different aspects. And, it's one of those, he said when he won the BAFTA, and I found it very funny because he spoke obviously with his normal Irish accent. And he went, it's a very naughty role with, he was loved by some and hated by many. And the way he said naughty, obviously Knotty, it sounded like naughty. He was like, it's a very naughty role. I was like, interesting. But
of course, Oppenheimer could never be my son, but Ross is.
Ross is. But Strauss is.
But, there we go. Yeah.
Thank you. Wonderful stuff. And again, I don't want to bring up Barbie again, but we'll end on a sour note here. Barbie is a movie that just gets worse with every watch, and Oppenheimer is a movie that just gets better with every watch. And
I agree.
And I don't want to throw. It's okay. 1 minute before the end of the first break, and then we'll get into the Trinity test and the final act in the next one and talk more about Robert. Do you think that there is a chance that this doesn't actually sweep the Oscars?
Yes, because it's the Oscars. It should sweep the Oscars. It didn't sweep the Bastards. The Bastards.
The Bastards.
It didn't sweep the BAFTAs. I'd say Anatomy of a Fall was the big favorite of the BAFTAs.
Anatomy of a Fall.
Yeah. This it really should do well at the Oscars, and I hope it will. Yeah.
But of course, when it comes to Best Actor, Will, you are somebody who doesn't have, doesn't let Summer sing in your heart. If Summer doesn't sing in you, then and of course you don't have Summer singing in you. So maybe this is Bradley's time. Maybe this has just been a huge prank, and we're gonna get Bradley to win.
Well, Anthony, come out.
Yeah, hi guys. Okay, wonderful stuff. We'll be back in a second to talk about the second hour of Oppenheimer 1. New reason why this movie actually is incredible. Actually, change my wording. What am I saying? Without Matt Damon, this movie has no second hour sort of kick into gear. And Matt Damon as Leslie Groves, who is both a builder of stakes and also, and I want to talk about this because should a movie like Oppenheimer actually have comedic relief? And the way that we talk about Matt Damon coming in and sort of giving the film a new energy and I don't know. I'm saying all of these things full devil's advocate. I think it all works, but it goes without saying. But I think without Matt Damon, the second hour is a lot more monotonous, and you get a lot more people who don't like the second hour.
I agree. I think Matt Damon's fantastic.
And Nolan said he wanted to make this part of the film feel a bit like a heist film, and he succeeds. It's got the ratcheting tension. It's got this
The getting of the squad.
Yeah, I mean, let's get some scientists. I mean, build this man a town, build him a town. It's and we get the squad. And again, this is where having loads of faces that we know, whether they be Drake and Josh, or whether them be Jack Quaid, it's about building up. Or Roderick Rules.
Yeah.
It's about having faces that we know to build up the team, and his brother, who's the kid from Halloween Kills and Halloween. Well, no, Halloween and Halloween Kills. He has his neck snapped rather brutally in Halloween at the end of Halloween Kills. A bad movie, but it's the build. So, how amazing is it? Like when they're taking off the tape, and you realize kind of how rudimentary a lot of this equipment was. And you see the little ticker timer. You see that, like the idea of a nuclear bomb, sure. But when you actually see it in like 1944, 3-ish technology,
Terrifying.
It's terrifying. And you get I mean, we talk about it all the time when we watch Titanic and like, oh my God, are they gonna make are they gonna make it up? We know what's gonna happen. We know that the bomb's gonna work. And yet the Trinity test sequence in particular is one of the tensest, most
oh yeah.
It's incredible. It's incredibly well made. And yeah, I mean, I said a while ago about how I thought this was before Oppenheimer came out. And I thought, don't sleep on the idea of Killers of the Flower Moon being a swan song for Marty. And a lot of unfortunate factors have done that a disservice.
Do you think how old is he?
He's old. An Oscar swan song, I meant.
Oh.
Like an Oscar swan song. Yeah. Maybe not he wants to make a film about Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah, go for it, buddy. And there is a thing of
there's just been one release, hasn't there? The musical with what's he called?
Antonio Banderas.
Yes, I was looking for The Secrets aftershave.
Antonio Banderas has released a musical about Jesus Christ.
Have you not seen any of the clips? Sorry, in public. Antonio Banderas' The Secret is one of the greatest aftershaves out there.
I have it myself. Yeah.
Yes. Should we wear it tomorrow?
I think we should tag team this poking out well and try and sneak in. If I knew
the tactic is just because obviously I imagine you and me will be mainly on cocktails.
Yeah.
So we just
I'm gonna bet. We have just and we ply them all with liquor. That's not true. We both love booze too much.
You carry on talking, and I'll quickly send you a clip from
of
Antonio Banderas' Jesus Christ musical.
Every time I look at you, I don't understand. What I just had an image of Antonio Banderas playing King Herod. Are you the Christ? Yeah, the great Jesus Christ. Well, I mean, we know he does Spanish translations of things. He could do a Spanish translation of Jesus Christ Superstar. This again, Jesus Christ Superstar, Evita, movies in that Strauss mold. I don't think it can be. Oh, sorry. So my point with Flower Moon is that I thought there was the possibility that there could be a split, maybe, and Nolan was going to get Best Director and Flower Moon was going to get Picture, or something like that. But it's going to sweep, and this is the bravura. Now, I want to make the argument about so much else of the film as why.
I believe he plays Herod, and it's in a film called Journey to Bethlehem.
Wow. Why is it? It's good to be king.
It's a great song.
Okay, so that's going to be the next emergency episode. The King of Bethlehem. Wow. You've thrown me for a loop there. Well, but yes, no, the Trinity test sequence is as incredible as everybody's saying it is,
Yes. Yes.
and gives the film and it's like a trick, isn't it? It's like a magic trick because we're both liberal people, and we get on the side of I don't know your politics on this, Will, but
Oh,
I genuinely believe that Oppenheimer thought with the sort of Kenneth Branagh, Miles Bohr way of thinking of it will be the bomb to end all war.
yeah.
I genuinely believe that. And whether and then there are parts of I think it's an incredibly well written. To be honest, I think people keep talking about it as a feat of directing for Nolan, and not enough people are talking about how astounding it is as a screenplay to balance all of these notions, to balance all of these things, to have still have great dialogue, great quotes, great quotable dialogue. I mean, we've been talking about this, this if the president should know about it, I mean, he had those fucking scientists,
Those scientists were fucking
scientists, and what they don't. I'm kind of going into Adam Driver. Give me your best, Strauss.
Oh, no, I'm not even going to attempt because these things take time to perfect, and I know you've been up all night practicing your voices for this.
I've been practicing. When they learn of Los Alamos. That's very good, isn't it?
No, I think you picked a bad because that went a bit. I've just got Antonio Banderas.
Antonio Banderas. When they realize what we're doing at Los Alamos, when they're trying to, this place costs $3 billion, Robert. When the money keeps rolling in, you don't get books. What else can I make fun of Antonio Oppenheimer? I waltz for Strauss and Oppenheimer. They're together. Like, yes, Strauss.
What about What about what's it called? The song where Eva Peron is sleeping her way up through society, but it's Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
All the communist parties,
all the wives.
Yeah.
Like, this is why the third hour is the best hour. Like the reveal that he was sleeping with the blonde wife as well. You're just like, he's coming to testify. Oh no, sorry. He's going to testify. Why is he going to testify? I didn't do anything against him because he found out that you were sleeping with them, Will's wife. And he's like, he never found out. And you just think, what a guy.
what a crazy guy.
He just loves sleeping with other men's wives. Have you watched the Tony Farino, Steve Coogan? He steals other men's wives, parking in other men's drives.
For girls is one of my favorites.
The what?
Fishing for girls.
Fishing for girls. Fishing for girls. What did you catch? Just crabs.
What kind of catch?
Short ones, thin ones, fat ones, dim ones, in a river called the wonderful Greg Wilmot, or whatever he's called, Craig Wilmot.
Gary Wilmot.
Yeah,
he played the Tin Man.
He's played everything. He's going to be in something else soon as well. Oppenheimer. No, an astounding screenplay. Because again, I just think this moves so very, very well. Let's talk about Emily Blunt.
Yes.
And then we'll finally get. No, I'm going to save Robert for our final part because I think we just go 40 minutes on Robert because I think he's the best part, undeniably.
Yeah.
I think Emily Blunt's very good in this role. A lot has been made of it being the typical Nolan wife problem. And like, Marion Cotillard, I'm going to kill myself, Leonardo. I'm going to throw myself at the building. Okay, Will, I will give you £10 in cash if you can remember Leonardo DiCaprio's full name in Inception, because I do remember it.
No, I don't. I don't at all.
Dom Cobb.
Well,
Damn.
I don't mind. You'll be giving me 20 of your British pounds tomorrow night.
Can we? Your advertisement said card games, never poker.
Um, well, we're not playing knockout whist.
You play crib.
Can we get the crib board out? No. Did you like no, it's a night of cocktails, hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah, what
Um,
hors d'oeuvres are you making, Will?
Oh, it'll just be like a bowl of salted cashews that we pass around. Obviously,
Well, I'm
not,
allergic to nuts. I'm allergic to nuts.
that's one less to worry about.
You can't, if everybody's handing out cards, you can't have just a big bowl of nuts, please, Will.
No, of course we're not doing that. I know. I'm gonna provide some nice food.
Oh, you know, I went to the Atlantis Palm Dubai Hotel and had beautiful hors d'oeuvres there. Well, I had duck wrapped in chocolate. I had crab, crab balls.
No, it's mainly crisps, but no, I think
I hate crisps. Well, you know
I
this.
think it's gonna be more on the side of you don't like cheese either, dear. Right. Well, yeah. You
We'll
can bring it up.
go for a nice Italian meal before, and then come back and play poker.
Before you're arriving with minutes to go. Well, we're going for a nice Italian meal on Saturday for my actual birthday.
Are we?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's do everyone. What I'd like to do is in the morning go for a nice breakfast.
Yes.
And, I want to go axe throwing. We're gonna go axe throwing and then do augmented reality darts as well. That's really fun.
I'm gonna break something to you, Bob. There's real darts that you can play. Augmented reality darts. I understand augmented reality things that you can't just do normally.
So it's a dartboard. You don't have to wear anything. That's the policy.
Don't miss.
Hey, and then so there's a dartboard. It's just a normal dartboard, but they have like a projector onto the entire wall. So you can play like mini games, and there's like to the micrometer sensors for wherever you hit. So it'll be like sectioned off, and you have to get it in that bit, and you score points against each other. So it's a bit more than just darts. We'll have a go anyway.
Sounds great. You know how much I love games. I went to a professional official work meeting yesterday, and it was starting 5 minutes late, and there was a whiteboard in the corner, and I said, "Should we play Hangman until people get here?" And people laughed, and I was like, "No, we can play like Wheel of Fortune." Like,
that's very Partridge.
and they went, "Okay, we'll do a film then." And I went, "Well, no, we'll do a Wheel of Fortune, actor, film." And I did Kirk Douglas Spartacus. Oppenheimer.
Expectedly Crash.
It's Crash. There's a car, another car. Oh no. Emily Blunt. That's how we start. Emily Blunt. Do you think that this is a wife problem, or do you think that this is like it's one of those things where, like Kitty Oppenheimer, this is what she was like? You know,
it is interesting because I do feel that when I look back at Oppenheimer, Emily was one of the ones I wasn't too sure about. But looking back, it wasn't her performance, because every time I think back, I doubt myself. I go, no, that scene where she has the bag.
She is saved by that scene.
Found out that that he's been.
She is saved by those scenes in the like when she is interrogated by Jason Clarke.
Is masterclass.
Because the other stuff, she is doing the typical biopic. Why won't you fight? Why won't you fight?
Next to the washing room.
Yeah, take the washing in. Oh, really? Really? But it's still raining. No, when I told you the code. Do you not remember when I told you the code?
Sarah Carruthers as...
Will, you know what's coming up soon?
What?
We record Sundown, and then it's time for the third annual, no longer annual, Quizathon.
Me versus... Did I beat Sarah last? I'm sure I've beaten her every time.
Yeah, you love beating my mum. No, because my mum still doesn't understand Jeopardy.
Yes.
She still has no concept of Jeopardy. I think if she understood Jeopardy, which she might do now, She could have possibly actually,
Stephen Fry.
yeah, starring Stephen Fry. Let's talk about Jason Clarke then. Let's talk about that kangaroo court. I think Jason Clarke's fucking incredible in this.
Stephen Clarke's great.
And he's so evil, and it is just that perfect, courtroom bullshit. He was in another great movie this year called Court Mutiny, the Kane Mutiny Court Martial, where he actually plays the defense, and it's just like, oh my, back-to-back films of him playing, great lawyers, and he's very wonderful. And obviously it's been memed, him screaming and up and out.
And Killian goes, Cillian, look over here, Cillian. But Killian, like with the white washout.
That's one of my favorite videos. Is you're both great British actors. I'm Irish, and he's like got the look of the dead. He's like, don't you fucking dare.
Jerry Adams.
Yeah. Plaid Cymru. Oh no, that's Wales, isn't it? What's the Sinn Féin?
Sinn Féin. Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland, of course.
CLW are for a united Ireland.
Yeah. Will is now going to outline all of our political leanings. Should a supporting actor go to the old man on the court who likes Oppie? Who's just
the nice man.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, leave him alone.
We know best supporting actors already going to Mark Ruffalo.
Yes, you do love. Right. Okay. Well, this is what I wanted to do.
Does it suit me?
Yes.
I'm going to poke you now.
Delightful. A performance that should be like my favorite of the year, but I just my hatred of most of Poor Things. Will, you've now got 10 seconds on each Best Picture nominee, starting now. Poor Things.
Poor Things, excellent, incredible. I especially about the production design. I thought it was very Gaudi-esque, and I actually think Emma Stone was fantastic.
Stop. Okay. Anatomy of a Fall you haven't seen.
No.
But 10 seconds. Did she do it or not?
Probably, and I'm basing this solely on her character in the Auschwitz one.
Sort of interest. You do not get to change my life. You do not. Again, another. Do you know how hard it is to make me feel like completely average on a 2-hour French courtroom drama about a bisexual writer who shouts at her husband? 10 seconds on the Zone of Interest. Go.
Zone of Interest. First went to see it. Sat there for 5 minutes just listening to a soundscape. Thought, whoa, this is going to be interesting. Didn't like it. Thought it was dull. And then the day later.
I'm sorry, Will, that's your 10 seconds. Good. So your last words on Zone of Interest are, didn't like it, thought it was. No, but it does stay with you. A movie, American Fiction.
American Fiction, I thought was really fun. I thought Jeffrey was fantastic. A lot of great performances, but it should have focused more on the book itself and the humour that came from that.
I completely agree. What are we missing? You haven't seen Killers? Oh, no. Fucking hell. I keep forgetting it got nominated. I keep forgetting it got nominated. Oh, go.
I didn't enjoy Barbie, and I feel bad to publicly say it because I don't want to. I just didn't like it. Yeah,
that's it. I was like, we've now had to watch the speech over and over again because incredibly it's been nominated.
That's the clip they use, isn't it? That's the clip.
That's the clip they use, and I forgot how terrible the line, and insulting in many ways, the line, "It's literally impossible to be a woman" is. That is an insane 5 words.
Has she been nominated? Oh, she has been nominated for an actor.
She has incredibly been nominated for Best Supporting Actress.
Yeah.
In a world where my beloved May December got 1 nomination.
That's America Ferrera for an Oscar nomination really has me stumped. Really has me stumped.
She was like not only actively the worst part of the film. Well, this is where we come back to Emily Blunt. Like if she didn't,
she plays the equivalent of like of the mother in like the Grown Ups movies or Daddy's Home. It's that sort of role.
there's not yet. And she gets this one speech, which I mean, I can't wait to see printed on somebody's poster in a room, and then I go, oh, I don't think this is going to work, and you know, um, but no, I love Greta and I love Noah. And I had a joke the other day with Rhian about how it'd be funny if they do win Best Original Screenplay, Best Adapted Screenplay, and we find out that Noah actually wrote the speech. That would be very funny. Greta Gerwig didn't. Gynecologist's final line was funny. The film continues, and so again, it's rather equally segmented. We get this incredible scene. They make the bomb. And then we get this incredible scene where they're deciding where to drop the bomb. Now, this is a scene without any music in. And I've heard a lot of people say that it's this scene where they go, oh, wait a minute, there has been far too much music. I wish they dialed it back on the music a little bit. Do you agree?
I didn't really, well, I didn't, the thought didn't come to me. So
I don't think it does.
I hadn't noticed it. It wasn't something. This is the first time hearing about it, so it clearly works for me. Is my reaction.
I think it's the hand in the ace in their hand of making it as propulsive and well paced as it is, And we get this moment of oh well, I've taken Kyoto off the list because it's a beautiful city for cultural reasons, and me and my wife honeymoon there. Beautiful place. And this is where we get the
Hull.
They should have picked Hull.
Yeah.
Famous Japanese city of Hull. And this is where we get the first glimpse of Oppie. Love how they keep calling him Oppie.
Yeah.
Of Oppie, fighting back and trying to work against how the bomb, pardon me, is used. Now, do you think there is anything, pardon me, to Strauss's belief that, he saw himself as the father of the atomic bomb and he loved it? And, how he felt validated by that, glamorized by that? Or do you genuinely think that also, I mean, even on a bigger political note, do you think if they dropped the bomb in the middle of the ocean, the war would have ended?
No.
You don't?
No. This well, obviously the argument was we've made the bomb, fair enough, but we need to use it in order for it to prove that it's a deterrent, and like for it to have an impact, we need to use it.
And not only use it once, we're going to show them that it exists, and then we're going to show them again to show that we can keep dropping them, I think is what Damon says.
Yes. Very, very well done. And I think it, that unfortunately it had to, because it had to be used for its purpose. You're not going to nuke someone. You're not going to nuke the ocean. You're not at war with Poseidon. You can have that on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And to your first question, I do think Oppenheimer was a narcissist and he enjoyed all of that, but I don't think he was proud of the murder part. I think Strauss got that bit wrong, where he's like, oh, he
and he would have kept dropping them, and if he could have done it all again, he'd have done it again. Hiroshima. I love the way that he says. There's so many words that he says bizarrely. Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Yes, it's. But I think this is the great part of the film, in that all angles are expressed, and there are moments where I think Cillian plays it like he's completely. It reminded me of that story that people tell all the time, and it comes up on like movie facts on Facebook, and everyone's like, "Wow," about how watch Mojo about how Mary Herron told, like, they shot the Willem Dafoe, Christian Bale scenes in American Psycho 3 times, and like, I want you to do this one knowing that he's the killer. I want you to do this one where you don't think he's the killer, and one where you think, and then they edit them all together. And they did the same thing with Anne Hathaway. I think it's like, do this one that you know that Jake Gyllenhaal got gay bashed, or do this one where you think he just died in a mugging, and it felt like that for 3 hours. Of like, there are scenes where I think Killian's playing it completely. We're just the scientists, we're just making. And David Krumholtz at Isidore, when he's earlier, and he's like, saying, I don't want 100 years or whatever amount of years he says of nuclear physics. I don't want the summation of 100 years of nuclear physics to be a weapon of mass destruction. And I just think it does such an astounding job of exploring all angles and bringing so many different factors into the mold. And then we get the factor of, for the most part, it's wholly sort of realistic. And then we get these multiple sequences. Firstly, I think Florence Pugh comes first. Pardon the pun. When they're revealing him going back to her hotel room, and Emily Blunt, again, people, I hate people. When people were saying that it was unnecessary, the scene of Florence Pugh astride him naked in the sort of dream vision in the courtroom.
Yes.
People thinking that that's unnecessary, sure. I don't understand your point, because I've never personally seen a better depiction of like dirty laundry being aired, and just that absolutely complete vulnerable feeling of like, I don't know, if something sexual comes up that you don't want, or something of I mean, this is times 10. I mean, it's a historical document forever now. And I think it was an incredibly great visual representation. There's psychosexuals, elements that
absolutely.
That for the most part, Nolan's films have been incredibly chaste. I mean, when was the last thing we saw? What, Christian Bale and Marion Cotillard in Dark Knight Rises, like, sat by the fire? Like, what was her name? Obviously, Kate Argul, or whatever she's called. What was her name?
No, it's so
Meredith.
It's
Miranda.
She's not Miranda.
No, it is. Her real name is Miranda.
Oh.
No, sorry, her fake name is Miranda. Miranda for you. Oh my God, I forgot. We both agree that Dark Knight Rises is good, don't we?
Yeah, it's a good film.
It's enjoyable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you watched The Batman yet?
I have, actually.
What did you think?
Pacing was terrible.
Yeah, far too long.
That's my main outcome of that.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? It didn't work for me.
Didn't work. Miranda Tate, also known as Talia
Talia, that's it.
Yeah, no, it didn't work for me overly. I thought like the first 10 minutes was like, oh my God, is this going to be better than The Dark Knight?
Yeah.
And then it just kept going. And it wasn't. How do we feel about Barry Keoghan as Joker?
Oh, you know my thoughts on Barry Keoghan. I think he's highly overrated.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you gone to Saltburn yet?
I've dined on a bit of Saltburn.
Yes. It is, after all.
It is.
Richard E. Grant was brilliant. And Rosalind.
Oh, my angel. My angel of music.
My angel of... Can Rosamund Pike
sing? Again in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Very excited.
Well, it's the best show in the world.
It really is.
And the wonderful Murder on the Dance Floor. You presumably had been TikTok ruined that Murder on the Dance Floor was the end song before watching Saltburn.
Yes, but also ruined. I felt it was a personal attack because Murder on the Dance Floor has always been my song.
It's always been
As in,
our
like,
song.
yeah. At weddings, stuff like that, I'm always like, play Murder on the Dance Floor with Sophie Spexter. And now everyone thinks it's cool and trendy and it's a great song.
I know, Will. I know. And I
It's
said,
really annoying.
I went to a party and normally again, like on the cruise, I was great playlist and Murder on the Dance Floor, everybody loves it. And then now everybody does it and I don't even have to request it and it feels weird. And everyone is
The exact same was with me and the Minions and the Despicable Me franchise. I've always been Minion crazy. And then it got really popular to dress up as Minions everywhere.
Is this where you tell the story, Will, of the last time you were dressed as Gru?
Oh yeah, it was a great party. It was a great party. I've got the entire speech somewhere on for you on video.
Did you do it as Gru?
Yeah. With that, shall we enter our third act?
Yes. Wait.
Yeah.
Oh no, we've got 6 minutes left on the second act.
Oh, okay.
Well, we can end it there if you want.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
Oh
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
I have one more comment. Very,
yes.
very sweaty Benny Safdie.
Yeah, I love Benny Safdie. Have you been watching The Curse with our beloved Nathan Fielder?
No, the only other thing I've seen him in was where he played the politician in
Wonderful Licorice Pizza. Hashtag Licorice
that's
Pizza
the
Sweep.
one.
Yeah. Until they build a bigger ball. I think he's brilliant. I've heard some people like talk about his accent. Let's do this for the next 6 minutes. We're going to do rabble rouse before we end on how much we love RDJ. We're going to do sort of segments on each actor. So I'll throw them out. So Kenneth Branagh as Miles Ball. Not really much to say.
No.
He was okay. He's still doing the voice of the Russian oligarch from Tenet. Tom Conti is Albert Einstein.
Incredible.
Very, very good. But like,
Keeps dropping his hat.
He's like, oh, my hat.
No, blown away, my hat. Yeah.
Oh no. Hello, Robert. You should have what it right. That is the sliding door parallel universe. If Tom Conti was terrible as Albert Einstein and just like, hello, Robert, how are you? You remember, Albert, when I told you that we'd make a chemical, a chain reaction that could destroy the world? Yes, I remember.
A good mate, a derivado para barbitube.
Yeah. Anybody want to make an Irish do it, Bob? The wonderful, and so many people. There's so many people. Oh, Matthew Modine shows up, and he's very good. We love Matthew Modine. The wonderful Dane DeHaan as
yes, the Green Goblin.
the Green Goblin himself. He's wonderful.
Yeah.
David Dasmachian, Polka Dot Man of Suicide Squad fame.
Yep. Jack Quaid was excellent.
Jack Quaid was great. Love Jack Quaid. Josh Peck
of the Boys fame.
Are you a Boys person, Will?
I really like the Boys.
Oh, actually. I didn't know this about you. The wonderful Olivia Thirlby of Juno fame and Thomas Carruthers' Huge Crush fame. She's wonderful here. Didn't know, that was very good. And is that about it?
No.
Oh, wait a minute.
Alex Wolff from
Hereditary.
The Beach.
Yes, he was on the beach where you get old. Yes. We've done ourselves a great disservice. We've got 4 minutes to talk about what you wanted to talk about earlier. Mr. Truman would see you now.
Yeah.
I genuinely didn't know before it started.
No, did you? No.
It was the most incredible moment of. It was like, and also it's one scene.
Must have been on the same set. He's just come out of Churchill, and Christopher Nolan's go, oh God, come on, can you just quickly? No, it's all right. Keep the makeup on. We'll just change the voice. No one will notice.
Nobody drops. I feel like I have blood on my hands. Wagging the handkerchief in his face. Again, brilliant. Do you think there is much artistic creative license? Because this is a very, very heavily researched film from the what's his name? Martin Shea, Kai Bird and Martin Sherwin book, which they spent like a decade writing. And again, Nolan made the decision to not use any composite characters. These are all the people. Do you think there is an element that is creative license? Because this just feels incredibly realistic, and I know that could be sounding naive.
The marbles in the bowls, was that real?
Oh, you think? Oh, incredible visual though. I don't know. I haven't read the book American Prometheus. Are you a history book fan, Will?
I enjoy I'm more of an ancient history man. Yes, I was never into modern history. I love ancient history.
Particularly the Greek armies.
Oh no, it's more probably would be the pharaohs of ancient Egypt.
Anywhere where masculine men are in the desert and enjoying natural releases. So like if I got you the book Oppenheimer, American Prometheus,
Yeah.
and it's like 1,000 pages long, which it is, would you read that?
Probably. Oh no, I just watched the film again.
Is this what? No, we normally end on this sort of question, but let's just throw it in now. What's next for Nolan?
Oppenheimer 2.
Nagasaki. Like I because like this feels like an ultimate project.
Yeah. What is he gonna do next?
He said openly, I'm not going to do something as heavy as Oppenheimer again to start with.
Oh yeah.
But it's my
Well, it's
favorite
got to be
film.
Bond. It's got to be Bond.
He's not going to do Bond, Will. When are
I
you
want
going
it to do Bond because it's going to be set. It's going to be period. He'll only do Bond if it's period. That's his rule, isn't it?
He said for a while that he only do Bond if it was with Tom Hardy and it was a clean slate. But I don't think I want Tom Hardy anymore.
No, not after his Inception. Very, very camped back.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to dream a little.
Although Daniel Craig did play a very camp Bond.
He did. And even camper as the wonderful Benoit Blanc. Please tell me you loved Glass Onion.
I love Glass Onion.
Wonderful news. Wonderful news. We'll be back to finally talk about Robert One. So then, we conclude. And long promised third watch. Now, let's make this argument. On a first watch, you're in the cinema, presumably.
Yeah.
And Trinity Sequence is the most incredible thing you'll ever see. On a TV, Trinity Sequence is still incredible. Just like watching Lawrence, obviously I prefer to watch every movie in the cinema. Robert Downey Jr. is going to be the biggest winner of this through the years because nothing is lost on a TV. And when you're flicking through channels, when we watch this with our dads on ITV4 in a couple of years, and it's near the end, and you're like, oh yeah, it's near the end. He's gonna Rami Malek's gonna show up. It's that's where Downey is gonna pull through.
Yeah.
And I think he's genuinely astounding in this film. It's Salieri, it's conspiracy, it's Brutus, it's
come on, think of another one.
What little shit? It's Fredo,
Yeah.
It's...
No, he's not. He's not a pimp.
No, but he's got. It's
not for you, Jen.
It's not. And I still love that. That's your go-to frame of reference for Fredo. He was a pimp. Oh,
no, he took the ring to.
But I mean, it's astounding.
Oh, fun facts: Harry Reeves,
yes,
believes that is it good or he's just playing Robert Downey Jr. He's just doing Tony Stark.
It's a good job he's not at the game tomorrow. because I would stay up for 8 hours now practicing poker just to fleece him. And then when I play my final hand, I'd go, I'm not a lowly shoe salesman. Trip aces.
Oh, you think you'll be having good hands? Remember, I'm dealing tomorrow.
Yeah, you do keep focusing on you dealing, and now I understand why. I think it's incredibly far from Tony Stark.
What about the bit where he goes, I am Iron Man?
That is good, yeah. I am Lewis Strauss. Is this the best performance we've had since Zodiac?
What, from Robert Downey Jr.?
Let me just go through. So, right, you'll know this.
I really enjoyed his character in, there was a comedy, Chef. He's in Chef.
Of course he's in Chef because he loves Jon Favreau. Right, so let me just count them now. Okay, so 2000 and the first Iron Man movie is 2008, okay?
Yes.
I'm going to see if you know the movies he's been in since 2008.
Crikey.
So, Iron Man.
Yeah.
He has a cameo in The Incredible Hulk. He is nominated for Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy in 2008. For what film?
Is it Chef?
No, Tropic Thunder.
Oh, yeah, of course. It's Thunder. Which he should have won. Well, actually, who was he against?
He was up against Heath Ledger for the Joker.
Oh.
Kind of a full circle moment when you think about it. Him winning for this?
What, because he's going to die?
No, because it's Nolan.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I hope he says, obviously, I should have been up here in 2008 when I played Kirk Lazarus in Tropic Thunder. Because I do love these bizarre speeches because they're always quite genuine and nice, but he always opens up with, okay, hi, everybody. Thank you.
I enjoy the, okay, I'm going to tell you my full life story very quickly.
I especially enjoyed that guy, Chris Nolan. He was then in a movie in 2009 with Jamie Foxwell. Do you remember this movie at all? I don't think you do. It's a
Jamie Foxx.
A newspaper journalist discovers a homeless musical genius.
Ray?
No, it was, of course, The Soloist.
A
movie that doesn't exist. In 2010, he was in a shameless rip-off of one of our favorite movies, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Oh, yes. Dog Day? Dog?
Due Date.
That's it. With, I do know what it is.
In 2011, he was in one of our favorite sequels.
Iron Man 2. No, Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows.
A Game of Shadows. In 2014, he was in The Wonderful Chef. In 2014, he was in a movie with Robert Duvall, a courtroom thriller. Did you ever watch The Judge, Will?
No, I remember.
Yeah, it was all right. And then that is 2014. He is then in Age of Ultron, Civil War, Spider-Man: Homecoming, Infinity War, Endgame, and then the last, and that's 5 years of nothing but Marvel. He is then in one movie in 2020 where he plays the title role. Do you know what this movie is, Will?
2020, he plays a title role.
He plays the title role, and then he hasn't been in anything for 3 years until Oppenheimer.
Was it Doolittle?
It was Doolittle, Will, yes. All this is to say that when does he go into rehab? That's the question.
2005.
Have you just Googled that?
Oh, no, that's...
Oh, sorry. I know.
Confident shot in the dark.
In 2008, drug-addled, problems escalated, clean and sober in 2003. Yeah, so 2003, and then we get Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, we get Good Night, Good Luck, we get Scanner Darkly, and we get Zodiac, and he's back on track. And then he's in all these incredible, wonderful, different roles, and then obviously he begins Oppenheimer. He begins Iron Man in 2008, and then we lose him for many, many, many years. Do you have a favorite Downey Jr. performance? Oh, what am I saying? This is so stupid. I'm a Sherlock Holmes fan, but you're the Sherlock Holmes
Yeah,
fan.
I adore the Sherlock Holmes movies. Yeah,
Best acting moment of his career. I was wrong. I was wrong. Across the street quickly. I was wrong. I was wrong.
great stuff.
Yeah, no, it's a long, long, long time, and thank God he's back doing things. And this is an incredible performance. And I mean, yeah, it's
My mum
gone.
didn't know he was in it. At the end, we came out and she was like, "He was good at the end, wasn't he? Where they got him from? He's gonna go on to be." I was like, "That was Robert Downey Jr." And she was, "Oh, what?" It was like
Very
when
good
people were
makeup, though.
saying, "This guy on the was it the Rihanna song is really he's great at guitar.
Oh,
He's got a future." The man in question was Paul
Paul
McCartney
McCartney. I got
of
5 more seconds to do.
Jet.
Yeah,
I was full partridge mode after work today, driving home to Jet
on BBC Radio 2
on Jeremy
in between
Vine.
Vine. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, did you listen to the should you
yesterday
bring
pigeon
your
shooting.
should your boss bring his dog in to work? And there was a story of a dachshund. The dog's dachshund and his PA took it for a walk, and it got caught in a revolving door and died. Raises the question: should certain types of dogs with longer bodies should you be walking them near it? And then the guest went, I would have just picked it up, Jeremy. And then he very quickly replied with, I believe it was decapitated. I was thinking, if you were in that van with me, we would be having a great time.
Did you hear pigeon racing yesterday?
But yeah, they fly all the way from South Africa.
No, they don't. No, they don't. That was a race in South
Yeah,
Africa. It's
no, I've
completely
done
different.
all of my research.
Yeah. Well, I can send you it if you want.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
great.
can you? Is Oppenheimer better if, like, I'm afraid we made a chain reaction. I'm afraid we did just that, and then it's like, boom, 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 and it's all the we see the future, and then it cuts to like the news, and it's like another 5 bombs have been dropped, and then it cuts to people are asking today, was Oppenheimer right to drop the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki? And and next, we're going to talk about school lunches. You love to rip into me because I always say school lunches as my next joke.
School lunches, ISIS.
ISIS and school lunches.
There was another one the other day. These are all real as well. It was dogs eating things around the house, and it was my dog ate 32 Mars bars, and I'm thinking, first of all, what are you doing with 32 Mars bars in your cupboard? And there was another one. Yeah, my dog ate 200 hair bands. And we came back and he was just lying on his back because he couldn't walk anymore because he'd eaten 200 hair bands.
I work for a dog food company and sell to people. And we had so many people are just like happy to feed their dogs just absolute kibble shit and and just let them die. And so many times it's like, oh, what you feeding it? Kibble, but he's not got long left. And I said, oh, how old is he? 7. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
He's got another 7 years in it.
Yes.
My family like to use butternut box.
No, we're not. No, we're not doing that. That's the first edit I'll make in a while. But no, the wonderful Robert Downey Jr.
Yes.
Right, let's end on this note then, because the Oscars are tomorrow. We're going to go through the Oscars, and we're going to place. Do we bet? What can we bet? Money, obviously.
Well, we're going out for drinks tomorrow. Buy me a pint.
Yeah. Are you gonna? So we're gonna do the drinks now. For I don't want the I want this.
I'll get them off as well, so I can. Oscars 2024.
It's fucking him again. Jimmy Kimmel again.
Is it? At least it's not big boobies.
Big Joe Coy. Oppenheimer. Bad guy.
He starts losing it. Robert Downey Jr. No, it's not. It's Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro's here. I'm shouting, Robert De Niro.
I didn't write any of these jokes, Ned. I didn't write them.
Rule
The ones
number
that
one: do
the
not blame your writers.
the ones that you're laughing at, I wrote those. Okay. Best picture, I just don't think it's going to lose.
No, it's Oppenheimer. So.
Best director, it's not going to lose.
Yeah,
no. Let's make this point now. We're not a political podcast, but there is currently terrible, terrible, terrible things happening all over the world. The Zone of Interest is a critically beloved movie about the Holocaust and about genocides. And without too much political, it's a fact that there are genocides going on in this world right now. Do you think there is a surge for the Zone of Interest that could possibly lead to a director sneaking in?
Who decides the winners?
Everybody now.
Or is it public?
No, the Academy.
Oh, it's members. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
all the the entire acting body votes for the acting nominees.
Is it American? Is it only Americans?
No, it's an international body. They've expanded the body.
Okay.
All of the five, when it's 5 nominees, you tick your one. However, Best Picture is preferential ranking. So you will give Oppenheimer 10. You will give
so it could win by because Oppenheimer could get 4s and then it's yeah.
This is the big thing. I don't think Oppenheimer is going to be lower than
rates as at university. Yeah.
I don't think Oppenheimer is going to be lower than 1, 2, 3, or 4 for many people.
The Oscars were the ones who also gave Everything Everywhere All at Once Best Picture. So
yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, sure, I loved Fabelmans, I loved Tar, but I wasn't stupid. I didn't think any of those movies were actually going to win. And when we go back to Zoe Wanamaker, everything comes back to Zoe Wanamaker. I've voted in that Academy for the past 5 years, and I've picked every single one of those Best Pictures, and I haven't seen one of these movies. There are people who tick, and they will know the name Oppenheimer. Best Actor, I don't think it's going to happen.
It's between Cillian and Paul, I think.
You really don't think Bradley's got any chance at all?
He doesn't care about the acting. He wants to win Best Director. We know this.
I think he'd like to win something.
He's trying too hard.
That's so not. That's
Make
so not
another
true.
Hangover.
Oh, I can't do this. Maestro is an excellent film. Well, it's not my fault that Summer doesn't sing in you. If Summer doesn't sing in you, then it's one of those things. Best Actress is the tightest race between Emma Stone and Lily Gladstone. Obviously, you haven't seen Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah. I hear Lily's very, very excellent.
She's astounding and she should win. I've made this openly clear many, many, many times. But this is where it's Emma Stone's a lot more showy. You can see the performance there. She's very good in it, but it does get quite annoying. I'm sorry. Best Supporting Actor. It is going to be Downey. Well, this is the thing. Poor Things came out, I believe.
Let's rank the nominations. Okay, so we've got Downey at the top, De Niro next.
Yeah, you haven't seen Flowers of the Moon, but I think you'd agree. Downey, De Niro, Ruffalo,
Sterling K. Brown, Ryan Gosling.
I think Sterling K. Brown's great, but I don't. That's probably one of the parts of the film. He's the gay brother. I'm sorry. I don't think that is. No, I know you hate Barbie, but I do think Gosling's better. Sorry. Best Actor. I gave it to Cillian. Cillian, Bradley, Paul, Jeffrey, Coleman. Let's do best supporting actress, which is one where we're going to put the actor of color at the top, so we don't look like terrible racists bottom ranking every single award. Because Divine
Oh,
John
we have,
Randolph,
haven't we? Yeah.
because
Crikey.
Divine John Randolph is the best supporting actress of the year. She's astounding. Um, Technically, it's Julianne Moore, but she did get nominated. Jodie Foster's really great in Naiad. She is the best part um, of a not great film. American Frere is the bottom.
Yeah.
Danielle Brooks, I'm sorry, I'm not in on it. In Color Purple, Oprah Winfrey was 100 times better in 1985 or six. I'm sorry, and I don't think that song's very good.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. I'd go Divine, Jodie, Emily, Danielle, America.
I'd like Hugh Grant to uh, give the present the award for best actress, and then
He's...
say, "Divine."
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot myself there. Um, but let's not forget the eternal moment when we were in our first 10 episodes and we invited the wonderful Alice on for Paddington 2, and you prepped me to say, Alice is lovely, but I don't know if she'll get your sense of humor. Can you not make any Divine Brown jokes about Hugh Grant? Best actress, I would go
Emma Stone.
Lily, Carrie, Emma, Sandra, Annette. I know you love Emma Stone. I love Emma Stone. Let the record show. I love Emma Stone. Did you not even like Carrie in Maestro?
Oh no, I think Carrie was excellent.
Well, of course. I mean, so
My,
it's,
my, my father owns a theatre.
yeah, you should come over.
Out there. Yeah.
Yeah, so wonderfully.
And then I'll sit and watch you in a strange dance.
um,
That what was he doing?
how have we not
What are you
talked
doing,
yet?
Bradley?
How have we not talked about yet the fact that Maestro is just 2 hours and 10 minutes of Gay the Musical, the
It is.
workouting?
It is.
Best original screenplay. Well, we know how I feel. Right. Odds on now. I don't think it's going to win. But will My May December win?
No.
It's going to be fucking Anatomy of a Fall, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is the only chance they have to recognize past lives, though.
Mm.
Oh,
I
people.
really want Spider-Man to win animated.
Yeah. I'm not really an animated guy. Boy and the Heron, though, Hayao Miyazaki. It's a swan song for him. Sorry, Hayao.
Oh,
Um, Best adapted. Oppenheimer's incredible.
the Oppenheimer.
Zone of Interest, bizarre nomination. Like, not a movie I think about for its dialogue. And I know that a screenplay is not just dialogue, but not an interesting choice. I would say Oppenheimer, American Fiction, Poor Things, Zone of Interest, Barbie. I think. Are you about the same, or would you swap Poor Things and American Fiction?
Yes, yes. But I'd have the same top three.
Yeah. Uh, Best
Well,
right.
I've seen all of the best adapted screenplay films this year. I'm so proud of myself.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Are you gonna? So the Oscars are next Sunday. Are you gonna watch what's left? Anatomy of a Fall for you to watch?
No, I'm working night shifts.
Well, watch it when you come home. You'll sleep better. No, it's a fine film. Best original song. I'm Just Ken. I, but I used to. You love Billie Eilish, don't you?
I think Billie Eilish is great. I'm trying to find the original songs. It will win. It will win. Um,
Over I'm Just Ken.
I prefer I'm Just Ken, but I think What Was I Made For will win the award.
I also think. I mean, we love musicals more
Yeah.
than like we adore it. I'm Just Ken was disappointing.
Hmm.
Just average, very average. Uh, Best production design, I think Poor Things is going to
Poor
take it.
Things.
This is where the idea of an Oppenheimer sweep falls apart because I don't actually think it's going to get production design.
What
I
got score? Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer's going to win.
Yeah.
Oppenheimer's going to win. Let's have a look. Sorry, score. Best score is American Fiction.
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
This is where we go mad. Like Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny he's mostly reusing, and it's just to give John Williams, like he's the most nominated person ever. Give him another one, I guess. Killers of the Flower Moon score's brilliant. The Poor Things score, I'm sorry, I found quite annoying. Again, boing, boing, boing.
It reminded me of SpongeBob.
Yeah, the whole thing did. They should give Maestro for Leonard Bernstein's original score. Best cinematography. I think this is going to go to. I've not decided yet on this one. I think it's Oppenheimer or Poor Things. People in the industry, however, might nominate Killers of the Flower Moon, Rodrigo Prieto, because he did that and Barbie in the same year.
So yeah, I can see where he was focusing. It's a double joke because you can also talk about cameras in that way.
You can focus cameras. And the wonderful Jennifer Lame is best film editing. Is Thelma for Killers of the Flower Moon gonna come in as another sort of not swan song? None of these people are gonna die. They're never gonna die. It's tough.
That was another thing. I forgot who it was. Someone was very, very annoyed that they didn't put Matthew in the people who died bit of the BAFTAs.
Matthew
from Friends.
Oh, Matthew Perry at the BAFTAs.
Yeah, but I was trying to explain this is the BAFTAs that they'll do a big thing at the Oscars. They already did some at the Emmys, didn't they?
Well, the Emmys, yes.
The time,
the Emmys that
for you. A very sad acoustic version.
Yeah, they did. Where did they do somewhere with Rachel Zegler after Sondheim died? Was that the Emmys?
Yeah, probably.
Or was it the Tonys? I can't remember. I think the Tonys dropped the Sondheim. There should have been like a 20-minute Sondheim opening at the Tonys, surely.
Oh, Stephen.
Stephen. Oppenheimer. Is this a movie that, again, I'm saying this devil's advocate because I know how I feel, but is this a movie that's going to get caught up in the Oscar race and then in the style of Power of the Dog, in the style of so many movies that win Best Picture, we immediately forget about? Or is this going to be a movie that's in your rotation moving forward? What do you think?
Absolutely not.
To what question?
It's not going to be forgotten about.
It's
one of the big wins. This is up there with the big ones,
the best ones. Yeah,
the King's
Speech. Yeah, the King's. What do you remember? What lost the King's Speech for?
Something very good. I remember.
The Social Network.
Oh, I've not seen it. Not seen it.
You've never seen The Social Network?
Oh no, I've not seen a lot of David Fincher films. I've never seen Fight Club.
Okay. You've seen Seven?
No.
What?
I've seen Zodiac.
Well,
maybe that's it. Well, I know what I'm doing for my birthday this year. Yeah. When the football's on.
When the football watch. So you've never watched Seven. You've never watched. Please tell me you've seen Gone Girl.
No, I've never seen Gone Girl.
Well, I don't want to be too crude, but Rosamund Pike is a woman that you'd buy the shoes of online. And you haven't seen Gone Girl. Wow. Well, that's interesting.
I haven't gone down in your estimations, Tom.
No, I haven't gone down in my estimations. However, this morning I did download Letterboxd because people keep asking me, and it's getting quite annoying now. And I did one of my first lists was David Fincher ranked. Wow. Right. every year we do these rankings and all that sort of thing. Christopher Nolan was born in the same year as my mum and dad. Anyway, what is the Christopher Nolan top three?
The Dark Knight.
Oppenheimer, Dark Knight, Prestige.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And is it in that order?
Yeah.
We come down to the famous, is Godfather or Godfather Part 2 better conversation of Godfather's more rewatchable, but Godfather Part 2 is better. And I think you could make that argument with Dark Knight and Oppenheimer. I think Oppenheimer, Dark Knight,
Rachel.
Oh. Well, we must watch The Apprentice, and we must celebrate your wonderful birthday tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we must
hide in my room. It's an S-hole.
And we must watch David Fincher movies. Wow.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry, Will. It's a wonderful thing. You've never watched Seven because you think it's ruined for you because you know the ending.
Gwyneth Paltrow's
head. The wonderful Oppenheimer. Well, thank you very, very much. This was your favorite film of 2022, wasn't it?
What else came out?
All the movies that we just spent 10 minutes talking about.
It was. Well, I watch niche films as well, don't I? Yeah, no, it definitely was my favorite.
Like Doolittle.
I've never seen Doolittle.
It feels like the sort of movie you watched only 20 minutes ago where you said the phrase, "I'm minion crazy." And everybody who knows me knows I'm minion crazy. The wonderful Oppenheimer. That is that. Is this like, I don't think like recording this early. I infamously recorded Mank before the Oscars and was praying for a Mank sweep. You love to make fun of hashtag Mank sweep. And I mean, this time I'll be tweeting hashtag May December sweep, and it's only one to just get its one nom. The wonderful Oppenheimer. Will, any final thoughts on Oppenheimer?
Exceptional film, exceptional casting. Great directing as well, I thought. Well done, Chris.
Well done, Chris. That guy, Chris Nolan. And I will see you tomorrow, my dear friend.
Yes. Bye.